All right, welcome back. We are here at Mount Nim, which we just got to in our last session. Traveled all the way down from the northern outpost. And I think our goal here today is going to be going to Mount Nim, either to the fractured wall or trying to get to the spire. And I've got a couple things I can do here in order to get there. I'm going to travel along a mountain path. In order to ultimately travel away from Mount Nim, I'm going to pull the card up here. We do need 4 progress per ranger. So a total of a progress of 4. We do have an overlook test here, which is a focus test. The surrounding valley to choose a nearby pivotal location. Attach 1 card from that location set face down to this location. After you travel, if you've traveled to that location, put the attached card into play. So I think that's something worth looking into. I think we will attempt to travel to the fractured wall, which is a pivotal location, and we'll be able to grab a card from that location at a certain point. So let's go ahead and put this back out. Alright, we just got done in our last playthrough. We did rest, so I'm going to go ahead and starting this playthrough, we will deal 6 cards into our hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've also modified our deck a little bit with a few of the reward cards that we've had. Alright, let's go ahead and show our starting hand. I've got Compassionate. I've got Tracked. I got Oru the Sheepdog, which seems to be pretty powerful. Another Compassionate, a Homeward Bound, and an Orlan Thumper. I believe this is one of our new cards. So to go ahead and start, I am going to go ahead and spend 2 fitness to put out Oru the Sheepdog. And before I do so, I need to flip over a card. We have a Ranger Cache, which is a feature. 79 in the book. Let's see. You barely notice the sigil carved into a nearby rock. You don't see any sign of the Ranger Cache. But you whistle the 5 tones that Ben Amun taught you during your training. The illusion of a rock outcropping covered in lichen flares and fades as the lesser deactivates, revealing 4 carbon-forged chests bolted to the rock. So I've got this Ranger Cache that came out. You can do an awareness test, or a search test, which is awareness plus that symbol, to search the cache for useful gear to move your Ranger token to this feature. Then you may search your deck for a gear and equip it. If you fail, move your Ranger token to this feature, and you may add 1 token to one of your equipped gear. So that's a search. I would need a search 2 to move my Ranger token there to clear that. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to clear that. I do have that symbol. So I'm going to discard the tracked symbol in addition to the 2 awareness. Yep, glad I did. So it is a search of 2. And move my card to this feature. So I shuffle 2 cards from their Ranger discard back into their deck. And I search my deck for a gear card and equip it. So that comes back into my deck. I'm going to search this for a gear card. Go ahead and do a trail mix. I'll add 2 morsels to that. It allows me to spin a morsel. I can choose a ranger. And that ranger soothes fatigue equal to the number of fit in their energy pool, of which I do have 3 fit right now. So this will go away as I clear. And yeah, I do have the overlook here. I am going to try to do that focus test. However, just don't think I have enough to do that yet. You know, I do not have enough for that symbol. But maybe I can. Let's try it. Discard that and this. We're attempting an overlook test. I'm going to need a +1 or a 0 and a mountain symbol. Let's see. I did get the mountain symbol, so this was a no, that's not correct. That was not a progress test. Because it did not add progress. So I just needed a +1 and I didn't get it. That's all right. I am now going to add 3 progress to that mountain and do a progress test. That'll put 3 progress +1, so a total of 4 progress. And I do have the option at this point to travel away from this location if I'd like to, and onto the fractured wall. I would like to get that overlook test first. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to travel yet. I want to try to get one on that. So let's go ahead and replenish. take a card into my hand. We've got Healing Touch. Definitely not the icon I was hoping for, but it's fine. Let's flip this over. Okay. Okay, and we got Quizzy-Voss Rascal, which we've seen before, and it's going to have page 80 in the book. Let's read that entry. Pretty sure we've come across her before. From up ahead, hear a child quietly singing to herself. You move around a large cedar bowl to find a young girl, maybe 8 years old, tracing patterns into the ground with a rock. She's covered in dirt, head to toe. In place of her left hand is a miraculous piece of technology, a prosthesis gleaming in the sunlight. Its fingers suspended in air, held only by her body's memory of the hand. As soon as she notices you, she hops to her feet. Hi, what are you doing? Where are you going? What is that? Can I use it? Each time you answer a question, she has another one at the ready. It seems like you have a new traveling companion. Release it until you can satisfy her curiosity. Yes, I remember this chick. Gonna just bypass her, even if it causes me to fatigue a card. So, spin that. Soothe fatigue equal to my fit, which is at least 3, but I will take the 1. I'm going to discard Healing Touch. I'm going to do this overlook test again by spending that plus that, and let's hope I get +1. I did get a +1, which is going to allow me to take a card from a pivotal location that I'm going to plan on traveling to. So that'll be the Fractured Wall. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that there. And let's show everybody the person we put out from when we get to the Fractured Wall. Solaro Mako Archaeologist, Being Human Villager. He's a friendly, I can do an investigate test of 2 to investigate the local ruins with Solaro to add progress to a ruin or a machine equal to your effort, then add an equal amount of progress to Solaro. So yeah, we'll see what that ends up doing. At this point, I am going to end my turn to go ahead and travel. I do not have any obstacles in the way, so this does allow me to travel to the Fractured Wall. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Take the cash, Take this and take the deck here. Okay. Bring out the fractured wall location here. Well, that's a cool looking card. I'm going to show y'all here in a bit. We are going to be traveling mountain path again. So I'm going to snag the mountain path, and I will show this card. So fractured wall. It's a location, pivotal location, a ruin, a water, an ascent. A lot of keywords there, but it does have a chart, which is a focus test of 4, a course up the surrendered ruin. To move your progress to this location, you may discard up to 2 progress from this location to commit an equal amount of effort. So that's going to be tough to get my presence on there. I just don't have a lot of focus, so that's going to be a tough one. But because I did the mountain in test, I can basically put this attached card into play with the down arrow. It will be within reach. And then let me grab the other 2 cards from the location. And shuffle these into the deck. So let's go ahead and shuffle. Okay. Okay. Draw a card as I ended. And I've got that Artel vaulting rod. So that allows me to get over an obstacle if I want to. So let's go ahead and flip over one of the path cards. Spider line station or stanchion. So during your turn, if you move your ranger token to this feature, you may treat obstacles as if they did not have the keyword obstacles. And as a response, when you travel, if all ranger tokens are on this feature, you may travel to a location up to 2 paths away using the terrain of the second path when building the deck, which is kind of cool because if I can get my ranger token on there, it's going to allow me, show you here, to travel to the spire in one fell swoop. I think I kind of want to do because that's eventually where I want to try to get to. Okay. There's just no way I'm going to get to that chart. That's a focus of 4. Holy crap. Alright, well. But I can go ahead and do that awareness test. To investigate the local rooms, add progress to a rune or a machine equal to your effort. Is this a rune? It is a rune. So, that's not going to really help me there, so, okay. Let's read about him first. So 53 in the book. I'll read about the architect. If you are on the archaeology mission and all options are checked off, go to 50.3. If you proved Solaro's hypothesis, go to 53.1. Otherwise, go to 53.2. As you carefully make your way over the moss-dappled stones strewn near the fractured wall, you hear a faint series of beeps and grunts. Squinting, you spot a hunched figure intently studying a collapsed chunk of the fractured wall. As you approach and get ready to introduce yourself, he spins around to face you. Clearly mid to late 22nd century design. If you look at the interlacing carbon microfibers in the stone, you agree? You pause, unsure if he's addressing you or himself. He grins. Well, what do you think? Confused but intrigued, you take a look for yourself. Clear Solaro with progress to ask him about his research. So, yes, I'm going to try to clear him. I can do that investigate with awareness. And I need a +2 on the investigate. So let's just do both awareness tokens. Do an investigate. That is a 0, so great. That'll be 2 progress. I need 1 more. So I'm going to exhaust this guy. I move to him and add 2 progress to him. Perfect. Let's see. 53, so we'll clear it. 53.7. Solaro collapses. You rush over to examine him. He's still breathing, but in a lot of pain. Oh dear. I'm afraid he leaves. He heaves as he clenches his jaw. You must stay and help him recover, keeping an eye out for any predators who may take advantage of his injuries. End the day. Oh, wow. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I cleared him with progress, not damage. So it's going to be 53.5. Oh, yes, of course. Solaro's eyes light up. The calcium deposits. See, I believe this was once a dam holding back a huge lake. Maybe a small sea. When it ruptured, the water would have swept through the valley, submerging and reshaping the ecosystem. It eventually drained into the Verdeso, leaving behind aquatic life forms. As they decomposed, they would have left strong deposits of calcium in the soil, which would have enriched and accelerated the regrowth of the valley's floor. He looks to you. If I were able to test 2 samples, one from here and another from, say, White Sky Branch or Spire, I could determine if the calcium deposits are indeed present. I know the paths can be winding and dangerous, but maybe you'd be willing to accompany me. Agree to help, discard all progress, and attach helping hand mission to Solaro. Sure. Helping hand mission to Solaro. Let's take the missions, snag the helping hand, and we'll attach that to Solari. All right. All right, let's take a look. Perfect. All right, so let's I just don't think I have enough to do that focus mission. It's got to be a 4, and I just don't have enough of that symbol. I've got 1 in my hand, 1 in the discard pile. I'm going to exhaust my being. I'm going to add another and I can spend 1 energy. So let's see. Let's see. All right, I gotta look something up here. Let's see. All right, so definitely can spin this and add that. So let's do this again. Pull this back into my hand and this back into my hand. Because I can do that equal to the number of fitness cards I have. I think I am going to this will flip over. Discarded 2 to bypass the archaeologist, and then I'm at focus. I need a 4, so I'm gonna spend 3. Well, actually, I'm not gonna do that at all because I don't have any focus. I'm gonna rest. Okay, add a cloud to that. Draw a card here. Predator, pouncing Aatrox. I'm gonna try to exhaust it. So let's spend both of these. Do an awareness test. Of 3. Perfect. And then I exhaust it. And then I'm going to do the focus test I was going to try to do in the first place. So let's go ahead and spin those 2. Plus this. Do the focus test up here. I am going to need to, before I can attempt that test, I need to discard a couple of cards. I discard these 2. Okay, let's go ahead and try that. It's an effort of 3. So let's do nice, a +1 on the focus. So I do move my here. May discard up to 2 progress. So, okay, it says, chart a course up the sundered room to move your progress to this location. You may discard up to 2 progress from this location to commit an equal amount of effort. Okay. Ready this feature with the highest presence. So, anyway. I can travel from that location if I decide to. I want to, but I'm going to basically get onto this Sunderline Forest first, which is a spirit test, and plus any of the triangles I commit. I am going to spin this, and I'm going to recall 3. And I then spin this to add another energy to that token. Yep. And then we're going to try to do a spirit. It's a brace test, so I need a spirit of 3. So, plus any triangles I discard, so I'm going to spin that. Plus, 2 triangles. I didn't need it, so anyway. That sucks. I think I can't do this. So, sucks. Alright, so let's just go back. I'm going to end it. And we're going to go ahead and travel. Let me grab... Weird situation where in order to use this to travel 2 times away, I have to have my ranger token on this card, but in order to travel, it has to be on this card. So I'm just going to choose to travel instead, keeping this guy as a permanent so he does not go away. I'm going to move this out the way now. Unexhaust that. Let's go ahead and move out the way. And we are going to travel to the Philosopher's Garden, and that is see, that's going to be a wooded path. Grab the wood path deck. Plus 3 random cards from the Valley set. Let's go ahead and shuffle these. And we'll go ahead and shuffle everything together. Where am I headed to? I'm headed to Philosopher's Garden. So let me snag that location. Set up the path deck, show you the Philosopher's Garden card here in a second, and we'll do the location setup. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle all these. Okay, set up the path deck there. Add another cloud here because I ended the day, and I will do the setup on the card. So show you guys where I'm at on the map as well, where we're headed. So we had the fractured wall here, and we are headed to the Philosopher's Garden and then eventually to the Spire. And then with this, it says, Lead Ranger, draw 1 path card. It enters play face down along the way. So that'll be along the way. That's going to be 17 in the book. So we're going to read about this location. If Celio Gris is in play, go to 17.1. Nope, otherwise read. No one has ever been able to tell you how this patch of woodland got its name. You can't help but feel a shiver run down your spine as you travel through it. However, although this grass is just as green as the same birdsong echoes through the branches and the usual insects buzz in your ears, you can't help but notice that all the trees grow in strange and precise geometric patterns. Alright, so let's see what this says. Flip path card face down. It keeps any attachments. So that's a refresh. Treat face down cards as features with the obstacle keyword and a presence of 1. They gain the following tests. Identify the true nature of the manifestation before you flip this card face up. So I have to do an identify. So basically that's an obstacle. And that's a 4R progress to get out of here. So I'm going to play this Artel's Vaulting Rod because it allows me to exhaust an obstacle. So it'll come with 2 vaults on it. Cost me a fit to play. I will exhaust 1 vault to exhaust an obstacle. And that'll get flipped over, but let me go ahead. Yep. Flip over. And that is a Sitka buck. And I got a strawberry bramble. Let's see. I want to do a traverse test. I just am lacking that symbol. I need a 4 or higher. So I'm going to spend an energy token here. To add a token to this vaulting rod. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to spend an energy here. Focus plus triangles to do a remember test. Let's see what I got here. Discard that, and let's see what test it is. 0 for the focus. There's an active Sitka doe, the buck charges it. Nope, there is none. There's an active predator, exhausted. No. So, okay. So I get to draw 2 cards from this deck. Got what I needed. I'm going to interact with this. So I get to basically discard 2. And then discard 2 more. Plus these 2, that's going to be a 4. I have to discard the 2 to bypass these 2. And I also have to discard 2 to bypass that, so I'm going to just discard everything. And, yeah. So, okay. And then, okay, I'm going to do a progress test on that. So that is that fitness test. And I got a +1, so that's nice. It allows me to put 4 progress on it. And then I'm going to spin the morsel here. You get to recoup 3 items here. And yeah, I'm going to end the day, and I'm going to decide to travel again. So let's go here, here. This comes off. This comes out. Now we're on a new path that I've never experienced before. It's called growth. Plus, we have the spire. So, spire. 6 cards in this particular location. See what the setup looks like. So we got a thing to read here, and I will show you the Spire card in a second. Let me go ahead and shuffle all 6 of the Spire's cards into the main deck. The Old Growth Path deck. So this is a pretty stout little deck of cards. Let me show you the Spire. So it's got a path deck assembly. Do not add the Spire set to the path deck. Shuffle it separately and set it face down next to the path deck. Do not add the Spire set to the path deck. Shuffle it separately and set it face down next to the path deck. This is the Spire deck. Shoot. I should have read that first before I just made this deck. So let's see. Okay. I'll set it next to the path deck. That'll be the Spire deck. At page location 5 in the book. I'm going to read that first. If Solaro Mako is in play, go to 53.6. And he is. Let's go to 53.6. As soon as you arrive, Solaro eyes a small patch of pebbled earth and quickly begins collecting samples. Worn from your journey, you finally rest in the nook of a hollowed tree trunk, which for once seems to hug every curve of your aching body. Just as you begin to drift off, you're startled awake by Solaro's joyous cry. Yes, and not only the same percentage of calcium enrichment, but dating back to approximately the same time. He begins to pace in concentric circles, each circle sending him further and further into the forest. His voice drifts away, but you manage to make out. After the flood, no noticeable decay of archaeology technology across. A flood this powerful must have scored the Valley of Life. Gain Solaro's Insight Reward card. Discard Solaro and return Helping Hand to the collection. Write Prove Solaro's hypothesis on the campaign tracker. Then return and read the intro of the location as normal. Okay. Prove Solaro's hypothesis. Perfect. Add that to the notes section of my campaign. All right, go back and read the thing as normal. So I'm gonna move him out. So this is gonna go to pivotal location, in fractured wall. And this will go Helping Hand back into the missions. Okay. Back to reading the Spire. Rising out of an island in the middle of the Silverfin, the first thing you spot is the landmark that gives the town its name. A massive gray spire at the center of the island towers over the cottages, workshops, and trade halls that make up the rest of the town. As impressive as it is, you know that it is but a protrusion of the ancient archaeology that extends deep into the roots of the valley. So, I'm gonna say, do not add the spire set to the path deck, shuffle it separately. The arrival setup, draw one path card. That'll be this guy. It's a Kleptic Raccoon, which is a prey. Interesting. So let's show this card that is coming into play. So it is a Kleptic Raccoon. You have a keep test. So keep one eye on the raccoon and the other on the path to exhaust this being and add progress to it equal to your effort. If you fail, draw a path card. You can, once you clear, search a ranger, discard for a gear, and add it to your hand. So draw a path card if you fail. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's go over here. Fit. You got an inner test. The bustling town of Spire. Move your progress to this location and draw one card from the Spire deck. When you would draw one path card, if your progress is on this location and there are cards remaining in the Spire deck, you may draw one card from the Spire deck instead. So I need to get my progress on this pronto. Let's see. That's a fitness test too. So let's go ahead and refit all of this here. Ready that. That'll be the last one of these. This will flip over. This will come out, and then I draw a card. Another meticulous card here, which is kind of nothing going right now. So let's do this. Sparrowhawk. Kinda want to get that Sparrowhawk out, but I do need to exhaust that raccoon. So let's go ahead and exhaust this. Add 2 progress here. I'll do a connect test. Spin both of those, plus both of those. see what I get here. There's a -1 anyway. Get rid of this guy. Get the discard pile. So let's make this the discard pile for the path deck, and then I've got the other deck there. I am going to spend both of these. And put out my hawk so I can scout path cards ahead of time. And then I got a fitness plus that, so I'm just going to use all 3 fitness to do an enter test. Yeah, so I just need a -2, but it was, yep. So move my progress here. And then I can decide to draw cards from that deck. I'm going to spin this as well to do a focus test to basically draw a card into my hand. Another Artel's Vault. I will spin this. Nope, I will not spin that. Should have spent that earlier. Okay, and then I'm going to rest. So let's put everything back onto the cards. When you would draw a path card, if your progress is on this location and there are cards remaining in the Spire deck, you may draw one from the Spire deck instead. So I want to draw one from the Spire deck. I got the Carbon Forge, that's 56. Allows me to fabricate a new item, return a gear card from your hand, or discard your collection, or from your hand or discard to your collection to choose a starting gear from that collection that you meet the aspect requirement for and put it into play. This altercation to your deck is permanent. That is a 56 on there. Okay, so I'm going to draw that before I go. Exhaust that. Let's see. 56. The Carbon Forge, even outside the compound, you hear a muted roar of the Carbon Forge and smell the sharp tang of ozone. Once beyond the wall, you can see the squat, bulbous shape of the forge itself, a gray kiln larger than 3 wagons. As you watch, a trio of sweating artificers haul a series of heavy curved beams out of the forge's mouth, frames for a roof. Another rushes forward to shovel graphite shards into a small hatch on the side. Blue sparks flicker within, and your hair stands on end as the forge begins to reform the graphite into nano-assembled carbon items. Interesting. There's a lot going on here, so maybe I just travel away and end the day. Let me see. Let's see what I want to do. I gotta travel at the end of the day. So let's travel. I'm gonna do a progress test on here. Oh. So when I move it, I should have drawn this, so then I will draw another one. So when I did this test, originally I should have drawn that, now I draw another one. I got the arcology threshold, that's going to be 58. Read that. Enters play, 58.1. Most everyone in the Valley, and certainly everyone in Spire, is familiar with the arcology. Most of them think of the upper levels that have become the basements and power generation stations of the Spire. You head past the water turbines and the enclosed river docks down into a level below the Silverfin. Here the air is a bit damp, but you find yourself in a brightly lit chamber full of cabinets and pedestals. Artifacts are scattered throughout the space, each with a neat label identifying them. Most seem to be from the Estians. Some seem even older, from the decades before the guide led people to begin the generational projects. I'm gonna go ahead and still, because these are a progress or a presence of 0. I'm gonna just get 4. I'm gonna do a traverse test and try to get a traverse of 4. Let's see if I have enough. Yep, I'm gonna discard that and just instantly make sure I get it, unless it's a -2, which it's not. I do progresses of 4 on here. So I should have had 3 clouds on here, so now we'll get 2 clouds. And I will choose to travel, but I'm going to ultimately rest. Get all of these back. That back, take that back, take that back. These will go back, this will go back. Shuffle these. Shuffle these. Okay, camp. Gonna camp and stay at this location. Okay, and I think we're gonna end it here, but let's figure out what happens here. If you've completed biscuit delivery, which I have, you yawn as you wake up on the trail and then sniff the air curiously. Something smells delicious. You look around your campsite and see sitting on a rock a hearty grain loaf and stack of delicate sweet breads, still warm and steaming. Someone hiked on by while we were asleep and left them for you. On the top of the loaf, you find a note that says, "Thanks for delivering your biscuits to us. Enjoy breakfast." Each ranger gains one additional energy in their aspect of their choice for the first round. Alright. So that's cool. Now we're going to read 104. Oh yeah, that was at the end of the last day. At the start of that day, we were supposed to read that. Alright, well, that works. So let's read this. You wake up in the morning to a dark sky thick with clouds. Rain is falling on your head, on the head of the valley in thick sheets, and the creek near your camp has spilled over its banks. Before you finish packing, a familiar figure approaches your camp. It's Cal Ivor. "Make haste," he calls. "Areas southeast of Lone Tree are flooding." It was that ridiculous shaper. Came to water the hanging gardens and instead creating an entire storm front. Elder Thrush is sending teams across the upper valley for rescue and relief efforts. You must go to White Sky, Kodo's Market, and Golden Shore if you can get there in time. Make sure everyone is safe, then provide whatever aid you can. This could have been avoided, Cal says, mostly to himself. He looks down the trail in the direction of Lone Tree, then back at you. "I wish I would accompany you, but Calypso and I have been tasked with finding Ale. Maybe he can fix the mess that he's created and put a stop to this rain. You're on your own. Good luck. You're going to need it." As if on cue, a peal of thunder rattles the air. Gain Rising Waters mission. You have to move fast to beat the waters. Record 94.2 2 days from now. Day 6 on the track. At the start of that day, read that journey. Okay, 94.2. Let's see, 94.2. That'll be on day 6. Got it. And I'm going to take this card out of play. Let's grab the downpour card for weather. So it's going to be 4 rain on the card. Causes us to suffer fatigue. So I've got to gain the Rising Waters mission. I need to get to White Sky, Kobo's Market, and Golden Shore. And interestingly enough, nowhere near those. So the mission up here. Let's see if you can see that. Off to the side. Show the mission first. So it's telling me to go to Kobo's Market, White Sky, and Golden Shore. Need to have 3 progress on this mission. So I've got a couple of days to get there. So the cool news is, and I'll show y'all where I'm at, I can get from the Spire to Kobo's Market, go up to Boulder's Field, over to White Sky, and then get to Golden Shore. So I think I can do that in a couple of days. I am going to have to provide aid at those locations upon getting there. Cool. Which I am traveling from this location, so take these cards away. I'm going to be headed towards Kobo's Market from the Spire, so that is going to be a lakeshore path. And make the path back there. Get some pivotal locations going, or path cards from the valley. And Kobo's Market, let's go to that location. Got it? We'll do the setup for this location first, and we're going to read about it. 16 on the arrival setup. Lead Ranger search the path deck for the next feature and put it into play. So let's read 16 first. If speaker now is in play, go to 16.1. If Kobo's Market is flooded, go to 16.2. Alright, it is flooded. So you crest the lip of the dell and see Kobo's Market. The pond in the center has overflown its banks, and now half of the depression is a murky expanse of brown water. A few tents have been moved to the new banks of the pond, but you see at least one colorful patch of fabric rising forlornly out of the pond in a single remaining tent pole. Search the general set for flood damage and put it in play. So let's search the general set. Put it in flood damage. Well, I'll get this flood damage card. When there is no damage on this feature, read 95. So I need damage 2 per ranger. So if I do a repair of 2, which is a fitness test, the damage caused by the raging waters, to discard 1 damage. So it puts 2 on there to start. So I need a fitness to repair. So search the path for the next feature and put it into play. That's upon arrival. Alright, so when I get back, we are going to be trying to repair this area. And with that, we will go ahead and end this stream.